She lost her alien partner and hated her human replacement. Until he saved her life. The memorial service for Zektar had been 3 months ago, but Liana Chen still felt the weight of his absence every time she entered the research lab aboard the Celestial Dawn. The Vorthak scientist had been more than just a research partner. He had been her closest friend, the one being in the galaxy who truly understood her passion for xenoarchaeology. His 6-armed frame had been a constant presence at the adjacent workstation, his melodic clicking language a comforting background to their shared discoveries. Now in his place sat Marcus Rivera, a human from the Terran Colonial Academy. Everything about him irritated her. Where Zektar had been methodical and philosophical, Marcus was impulsive and loud. Where her former partner had approached ancient artifacts with reverence, this human treated them like puzzles to be quickly solved and discarded. "Dr. Chen, I think I found something," Marcus called out, his voice carrying that insufferable enthusiasm that seemed permanently etched into his features. Liana barely looked up from her own work, cataloging fragments of what appeared to be precursor technology. Unless it's a complete star map or a functioning piece of their quantum architecture, it can wait. She heard his chair scrape against the metal flooring as he stood, but she refused to acknowledge him. 3 months of this partnership and she still couldn't understand why Command had paired her with another human. The galaxy was full of brilliant alien minds, Cathari philosophers, Zephyrian engineers, even young Vorthak scientists who could have honored Zektar's memory. Instead, they gave her someone who ate synthesized pizza for breakfast and hummed old Earth songs while examining artifacts that predated human civilization by millions of years. Liana. His voice was closer now, more serious. "I really think you need to see this." Something in his tone made her finally look up. Marcus was holding what appeared to be a small crystalline device, its surface covered in the flowing script that marked authentic precursor technology. But this wasn't just any artifact. The crystal was pulsing with a soft, rhythmic light. "Where did you find this?" she asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her irritation. "Embedded in the wall section we excavated yesterday. But that's not the interesting part." Marcus placed the crystal on the central examination table. "Watch what happens when I do this." He pressed a sequence of the raised symbols on its surface. The crystal's pulsing intensified and suddenly the air above it shimmered. A 3-dimensional projection materialized, a star map, but unlike any they had seen before. This one showed not just stellar positions, but what appeared to be quantum pathways between systems. Liana's breath caught. This is a navigational matrix. The precursors didn't just map space, they mapped the quantum substrate beneath it. "That's what I thought too," Marcus said, his excitement barely contained. "But look at this constellation here." He pointed to a cluster of stars connected by particularly bright quantum threads. "According to our current position, we're sitting right in the middle of it." Before Liana could respond, the ship's emergency klaxons began blaring. The lights shifted to the red emergency spectrum, and Captain Yarseth's voice echoed through the intercom system. "All personnel to emergency stations. We have detected an unidentified vessel approaching at high velocity. Defensive positions." Through the lab's viewport, Liana could see the approaching ship, a massive angular vessel that didn't match any known galactic civilization's design. Its hull was black as space itself, and strange energies flickered along its surface. Unknown. "Vessel, this is Captain Yarzeth of the research ship Celestial Dawn," came the captain's voice over the external communications. "You are approaching a designated archaeological site. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." The response came not in words, but in action. Streams of crimson energy lanced out from the unknown ship, striking the Dawn's shields with devastating force. The ship shuddered, and several consoles throughout the lab sparked and went dark. "They're using some kind of quantum disruptor," Marcus said, studying the readings on his portable scanner. "It's designed to break down the subspace field that holds our hull integrity together." Another barrage struck them, and this time Liana could hear the groaning of stressed metal. Emergency lights flickered throughout the ship. "Captain," came the voice of Chief Engineer Thaxmore over the intercom. "Our shields are failing. That weapon is operating on principles we don't understand. We need to evacuate." Marcus was staring at the precursor star map, his mind working frantically. "Liana, what if this isn't just a map? What if it's something more?" "What do you mean?" "The precursors didn't just disappear, they transcended physical space, right? What if this device isn't showing us where they went, but how they went?" Before she could answer, another massive impact threw them both to the floor. The unknown ship was now close enough that its shadow fell across their viewport. Up close, Liana could see that it wasn't entirely technological. Parts of its hull seemed almost organic, as if it were grown rather than built. Marcus scrambled to his feet and began pressing symbols on the crystal in a complex pattern. "The quantum threads," he muttered. "They're not just pathways, they're escape routes." "Marcus, what are you doing?" "Something incredibly stupid or incredibly brilliant." His fingers moved across the crystal's surface with surprising dexterity. Zektar's research notes mentioned theoretical quantum displacement technology. What if the precursors left us a way out? The crystal's light intensified dramatically, and the star map projection expanded to encompass their entire lab. Liana could feel a strange tingling sensation, as if the very atoms of her body were beginning to vibrate at a different frequency. "Hold on," Marcus said, and pressed the final symbol. Reality folded. One moment, they were aboard the failing Celestial, Dawn, surrounded by emergency klaxons and the smell of burning circuits. The next, they were floating in space itself, but not the cold, airless death that should have claimed them instantly. Instead, they were surrounded by a bubble of breathable atmosphere, drifting safely away from both ships in what appeared to be a stable pocket of folded spacetime. Through the quantum barrier that protected them, Liana watched the unknown ship continue its assault on the Dawn. But now she could see something else. Other ships were appearing throughout the system, emerging from what looked like tears in space itself, the Galactic Coalition fleet responding to their distress call. "The displacement field will hold for about 10 minutes, Marcus said, consulting the crystal's readings. "Long enough for the fleet to drive off our attackers and pick us up." Liana stared at him, really seeing him for the first time in months. "How did you know that would work?" Marcus was quiet for a moment, watching the battle unfold before them. "Because I've been reading Zektar's research notes every night since I got here. I knew I could never replace him, but I thought maybe I could learn from him." "Learn what made him such a good partner to you?" The admission hit her harder than the unknown ship's weapons had hit their shields. All this time, she had assumed Marcus was just another arrogant human, dismissive of alien wisdom. But he had been studying Zektar's work, trying to honor the memory of a being he had never met. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I've been unfair to you. You lost someone important. I understand grief." As they drifted in their quantum sanctuary, watching the coalition ships drive off the mysterious attackers, Liana found herself seeing Marcus with new eyes. His quick thinking and willingness to risk everything on an untested theory had just saved both their lives. More than that, his quiet dedication to honoring Zektar's memory showed a depth of character she had been too angry to notice. "So," she said as a coalition rescue ship approached their position, "want to help me figure out what those attackers were after? I have a feeling this precursor device is more important than we realized." Marcus smiled, the first genuine smile she had seen from him since they began working together. "I thought you'd never ask, partner." For the first time since Zektar's death, Liana found herself looking forward to tomorrow's discoveries. She would never stop missing her old friend, but perhaps, just perhaps, she was ready to make a new one.